like not all coaches are created equal or treated equal,
No.
right? You have to earn the right to be able to do the things that you do. You have to earn the right to be able to sit at the mic and talk freely about social issues. You have to earn the right to sit there and say, hey, I'm putting Becky Hammon in this role. Like no one else gets to tell me that Becky Hammon doesn't
But
become
he was
the
afforded that luxury.
He was afforded that
of who
because he won, though.
Yeah,
And so when we get back to that, right, when you talk about is it accolades or is it the people, you got to kind of earn the equity in order to stay there to develop the people, right?
Gregg Popovich retiring, right? Massive amounts of accolades. Forget it. Coach of the year, championships.
Well, I think
Popovich also has a ridiculous coaching tree in terms of people he has developed that have gone on to lead other organizations. So he checks both the boxes. You ask the question, if in order to be a good sales manager, do you have to have a lot of sales? When you say do you mean the manager or do you mean the team?
No, I mean the individual personal person to be the leader. Do you have to have individual success to then lead people?
Absolutely
you do not.
Correct.
So there are teachers and there are hunters. And
so when you talk about accolades, I think you can galvanize a team without being a really good basketball player.
Correct.
Like, Greg,
you guys
like Coach K didn't need to be the best basketball player to be the best, basketball coach.
But he has different accolades.
Well, hold on. So when I mean accolades, I mean you have to have wins, right? Not have necessarily done it yourself, but in terms of being a leader, your team has to have had success. You have to have grown the team, grown the business, whatever context we want to use that the leadership, identity inside of. There's got to be wins there, but if all you did your entire career was win and nobody was actually better for it, does that make you a successful leader?
Well, what do you mean nobody? Do you mean the actual players or do you mean the coaches that you
staff,
developed?
Everybody that you're involved with.
Because one can argue Nick Saban didn't develop enough people of success. That most of his guys got there and ultimately
did not do well. Yes.
Actually,
there's a large number of people that have come from his staff that did not do well. There's also a fair number now that are doing well. So
if
not
Popovich,
as head coaches, though. I think it's fair
early
to say.
in his career didn't have other coaches and players really love playing for him, right? He would not have become the guy that he was. He wouldn't have had the chance. The fact is, he was wildly respected by his peers, and to me, that is the number one metric. We are well respected in the training and development space because people know we know our shit and we know what we do may not be their style.
Well, I think if you want to be successful as any leader, you got to have some organizational structure, right? Or belief system in the way that you develop people, the way that you talk to people. There has to be a system. In order for there to be actual development, there has to be a repeatable system, which is why every person who has come in contact with Pop has either been successful, has that relationship with him, has that personal thing. Like I know Draymond Green was talking about it. He goes, I'm going to miss seeing him before the game.
Yeah.
And miss seeing the conversations that we had before the game. And I think there are those rare few people where you have an impact on others, no matter what your actual role is on them. And there are those certain people that you talk to, and every time you talk to them, you're like, I just feel like I got hit with a bolt, right? And I think Pop was one of those guys in the NBA that didn't matter who was talking to him, you got something out of it.
So I'll throw this in there. His ability to change. He coached a really long time. Basketball is a completely different game now than it was.
International players.
His teams were not good three-pointing shooting teams. He then won a championship with guys that shot three-pointers. He did not embrace the European athletes, coming in. All this, he embraced that. So his ability to be open to new ideas, to innovate, he did. He was the first female.
Well, when you look at, so he's developed Steve Kerr, Ime Udoka, Becky Hammon, Mike Budenholzer would be like the 4 top names in basketball right now that he gets credit for coming out.
What about Mike Brown?
What's super cool about that, just not listed in his, like, I think they're the most relevant.
Okay.
I think they're most relevant,
today.
right? Today's names.
Okay.
What's really interesting about that is you have a black guy, you have a woman, right? And then you got 2 other white guys, which, like, okay, you don't get a lot of credit for that. But he put a woman and pushed everybody, pushed authority, pushed the leagues, pushed everybody to be like, this is as qualified as anybody there is for the role. She deserves to get a shot. And I'm going to use my platform to do that. I think what's really interesting is that he probably didn't coach everybody the same way.
Which Pete Carroll,
the standard never changed, right? The standard never changed. But he found a way to connect with people that were vastly different.
There was a question that was asked to Pete Carroll, and he answered it, do you coach everybody the same or equal? No, I don't do it equal. I do it fair.
But I also
fair for them,
fairly,
not equal.
Fairly, not equal.
Reverse that for the coach, though. Like, not all coaches are created equal or treated equal, right? You have to earn the right to be able to do the things that you do. You have to earn the right to be able to sit at the mic and talk freely about social issues. You have to earn the right to sit there and say, hey, I'm putting Becky Hammon in this role. Like, no one else gets to tell me that Becky Hammon doesn't become the
afforded that luxury.
He was afforded that because he won, though.
Yeah,
and so when we get back to that, right, when you talk about is it accolades or is it the people, you got to kind of earn the equity in order to stay there to develop the people, right? And there has to be some sort of success in your fight. You have to have the system and you have to have the success first in order for you to show other people on how to get to the promised land. I think you have to have the roadmap and then share it with the others, which is what he did, where I think Saban had it, but Saban, and to get back to your point where you say, I think he talked to people differently. Like, I think Saban talked to everybody the exact same way. So he was never developing people rather than showing. And then when they got to that role, they were like, well, I'm just going to be Nick.
Right.
I'm just going to be Saban. I'm going to yell.
It's all they knew.
I'm going to jump. And then you are not actually Saban. Whereas I don't think Becky Hammon tries to be Pop. And I think Pop pushes each person to be their individual